AITA for revealing my 4 miscarriages after my SIL claimed I don't understand her pain. I'm a 34-year-old woman, happily married, and a proud mom to a 1-year-old daughter. The journey to parenthood was anything but easy for my husband and me. We faced heartache along the way, with 4 miscarriages before welcoming our beautiful girl into the world. While I cherish my daughter more than anything, I've kept my struggles with fertility mostly private. Only my husband, my parents, and my 2 older sisters know the details of what I went through. We have a sister-in-law, a 31-year-old woman, who is a sweet person, but often leans into a woe-is-me attitude. Recently, she and her husband got pregnant, but tragically, she experienced a miscarriage about a month ago. She's been very open about her grief, sharing her feelings on social media and discussing it at family gatherings. I empathized with her pain, reaching out with condolences and lending an ear whenever she needed to talk. I could see how much she was struggling, and my heart went out to her. Last Saturday, we gathered at my in-laws' house for dinner. My SIL was again discussing her miscarriage, and while I sympathized with her, it was difficult to listen. My daughter was sitting on my lap, oblivious to the heavy conversation, but happily playing. At one point, my SIL started to cry, and my little girl, being her sweet self, noticed and became upset. She instinctively wanted to give her aunt a kiss to make things better, a gesture she often does when she sees someone sad. I told my SIL that our daughter wanted to give her a kiss, but she responded quite harshly with a no and looked annoyed. It was a confusing moment for my daughter, who just wanted to comfort her. After this, my husband remarked how rude it was for his sister to dismiss our daughter's kind gesture, and my SIL said something that struck me deeply. It was hard for her to see her brothers with happy and healthy babies, while she mourned her own loss. While I completely understood her grief, I couldn't fathom how she could feel triggered by the existence of her own niece. In my experience, I've never felt anything but joy for my sister's kids and my brother-in-law's children. Sensing my discomfort, my SIL looked right at me and declared that we couldn't possibly understand her pain because we hadn't lost a child. That comment cut deep, and I knew I should have kept my mouth shut, but it felt like the last straw. I took a breath and told her that we did understand, as I had endured 4 miscarriages myself. I explained that it took years of trying before I finally brought my precious daughter into the world. My mother-in-law, who is always kind and understanding, immediately hugged me and expressed her sympathy for my struggles. Meanwhile, my SIL looked completely shocked and asked why we never shared this before. I explained that I'm a private person, that I needed to process those experiences on my own, and that I find it difficult to discuss my hardships because I know everyone is facing their own battles. Later that evening, my husband told me that his sister had called him, clearly upset. She accused me of trying to compete with her by sharing my miscarriage experiences. According to her, I was making the conversation about me while her wounds were still fresh. She even suggested that I was being passive-aggressive with my comment about everyone going through their own challenges and that I was minimizing her loss. As he recounted this to me, my husband found humor in her dramatic reaction, but I couldn't shake a feeling of guilt. Was it inappropriate for me to mention my miscarriages in that moment? I genuinely wanted to support her, but her dismissive comment really struck a nerve. So, A for revealing my own heartaches when my SIL implied I couldn't understand hers?